Science, sir.
So you know the news, no, that the second test will not be there. You will have one test on 28, 29, 30. No, you know that.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. So that will be a descriptive one. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
The test which is there on 28, 29, 30th will be a descriptive one, not MCQ.
Okay, sir.
So that it will be useful for your what you call VTU exam.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
So you will have to prepare for the examination in a descriptive way. No, that's why they are given this kind of this thing for you examination. Okay, MCQ is not required. Okay, so that is the decision that they have taken. Okay, so good morning everybody. Welcome to this automobile class, and hope all are, if you are keeping well. Okay, most probably by June second week, you people will be coming to the college mostly. Okay, so let's see how it goes. And regarding the automobile engineering subject as such, see, we have to complete only half a module, that is supercharger and turbocharger. If that is completed, your syllabus is completed. Okay, so I will just start with the classes today, and we'll try to finish off as much as possible. Okay, one more thing I want to tell you regarding the fluid mechanics lab. Regarding the heat transfer lab. Regarding the heat transfer lab, all of you know that there are 14 experiments, and out of which I think in the group, HOD sir has put all the details where 8 experiments you will have to know. Understood? 8 experiments you will have to know and study before coming for the lab internals. Second thing is, while writing the record, 8 plus 2 more experiments you will have to write the record. That is refrigeration and air conditioning also to be included. So totally 10 experiments for the record, but for the lab internals, 8 experiments you will have to know the lab internals. We are going to ask you questions about those experiments. Basically, we'll be asking you the conduction from the experiments which you have done in the college before the lockdown. Remember, we'll be asking the conduction of the experiments for the experiments you have done before the lockdown. That is what you have done in college. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5 experiments what you have done before the lockdown. Okay. So,
So how will it be done? Google Meet.
yeah.
How will it be done? If
Google
it
Meet.
do,
Yeah, Google Meet. See, there are 20 students in one batch now. Say
yeah.
approximately 20 students in one batch. So 22nd and 23rd, sorry, 22nd and 23rd is the lab internals. So each lab internal will take, faculty will take his batch. Okay, for example, I am taking, sorry, B1 batch. So for B1 batch, 22 students will be there. So first day I will take 10 students, second day I will take 10 students, and in the batch, one by one I will call everybody, and they will come and they are going to tell me about the conduction of the experiment. Conduction will be done for those experiments which is done before lockdown. Based on that, we are going to ask you the conduction experiments, number 1. So conduction is how many marks? 20 marks. Then we are going to ask you record, which you have to submit after the test. Okay, you write it and keep it. We'll collect it. Okay, so for the record, 8 experiments what we have listed, we have put in the group, plus refrigeration, air conditioning, 10 experiments. That you have to keep it ready in the record. Third one, Viva. Viva, we might ask you then and there the questions itself during the Google Meet, or there might be another possibility. We might post in the Google Classroom some 20 questions, and you are 10 questions or 20 questions. You might have to answer them and turn it in the Google Classroom. Maybe that also. So Viva, I don't know, it's left to the individual faculty. We'll just think about it, how to do it. Okay. So from your side, the things that you have to take care is, number 1, record all the 10 experiments, keep it ready. Second one, be ready for 8 experiments. And conduction, they will going to ask you for the experiments you have done before the lockdown. Maybe 3, some batch has done 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, each batch. Please go through that. They're going to ask you the conduction for that. So conduction 20 marks, record 10 marks, Viva 10 marks. Viva is left to the faculty. Whichever way that batch faculty wants, he is going to take it. Okay. So that is 22nd and 23rd. So maybe 10 students on one day and 10 students on another day. Each batch faculty is going to do like that. Okay. That is the way the lab entrance is going to go on. Okay. That is regarding to heat transfer lab only I'm talking. Other people I don't know. Please ask the respective faculty. Now coming back to the automobile engineering subject. Now I told you we have to do half a module, which is supercharger and turbocharger. So last class I started the supercharger. So just go to chapter number 3, page number 69 in the notes that is provided to you. See, this notes is very good actually. What we have circulated contains the whole syllabus. So please go through the chapter number 3. Chapter number 3, in the material what I given you, the group, posted in the group, page number 39. Yeah. So supercharger and turbocharger. Now, what do you mean by supercharging? We started last class. What do you mean by supercharging? So supercharging is a process where you are going to increase the density of the incoming air. That is called supercharging. And what is the objective of supercharging? It is done to induct more amount of air into the cylinder. It is done to induct more amount of air into the cylinder. And it is also going to help you in getting higher pressure and temperature. And one more thing, better performance is observed. Okay, and it will also compensate for loss of power due to high altitudes. Now, what is the advantage and disadvantage of supercharging? Let us see the advantage. Effect on the engine performance. So I told you what is supercharging. It is a process where you are going to increase the density of air to the supply of the combustion chamber. Now, what are the advantages of supercharging? Power output of the engine can be increased. Power output of the engine can be increased. Second one, more quantity of charge can be inducted. Third one, better atomization of fuel is possible. Better mixing of air and fuel possible. Scavenging of exhaust gases is possible. Now, what do you mean by scavenging? You know that fresh air is going to push out the exhaust gas. Okay, that process is called scavenging. And torque is improved. Faster acceleration is possible. Specific fuel consumption is lowered slightly. Specific fuel consumption means what? The fuel consumed per BP. That is called brake specific fuel consumption. And in diesel engines, the exhaust smoke is reduced. Whereas what are the disadvantages? Detonation tendency increases in SI engines. What do I mean by detonation? Nothing but knocking. Knocking is what? Abnormal combustion, which is totally undesirable. We don't want that knocking actually. Then, heat loss due to turbulence and thermal stress are more. The valve overlap increases by 160 for the crank angle. See, if the valve overlap increases, valve timing diagram changes, then there is a loss. Better lubrication is needed and cooling is required, and it also increases the cost of the engine. So I told you, what is supercharging? Increasing the density of air and then supplying it to the combustion chamber. Then what is the objectives of supercharging? Second. Third one, what are the advantages and disadvantages of supercharging? Okay. Then, what are the methods of supercharging? I told you there are different methods of supercharging. Now, the famous or the very prominent types of supercharging are mainly three types. One is called the centrifugal type supercharger. Another is called Roots blower. Another one is called vane blower. So, in the centrifugal type supercharger, you can see this. It is in page number 73, or in this case, you can take page number 41, chapter number 3, figure 3.5. So, you can see the centrifugal supercharger. So, it is one of the common superchargers that is used usually in all automotive engines, and the speed is around 80,000 RPM. Okay, so this is commonly used in almost all automobiles. Now, the advantage of this is you are going to get the compressed air at the outlet because it's in the centrifugal type. It's very simple, similar to a blower, centrifugal blower. So, in a centrifugal pump or a blower, what do you have? You will have an impeller, you will have a casing, and you will have an involute. Okay. So, in the diffuser, the air is going to come inside, swirl around, swirl, and then come out of the casing. Once it comes out, what happens? Compressed air you are going to get from the outlet. So this is called centrifugal type supercharger because centrifugal force is acting and it is going to throw out the compressed air. Okay, and this you are going to supply to the combustion chamber. 30% more air and fuel mixture can be forced into the combustion chamber using this type of centrifugal supercharger. The second one is called the Roots blower or the Roots supercharger. And this is like a gear pump. So in a gear pump, what you have? Two lobes are there. Two lobes are there. Now, the two lobes will be rotating and epicycloid lobes are there. Now, you can see here, page number 42, figure number 3.6. The Roots blower, you can see this. Now, the shaft is in the middle and you have epicycloid rotors, like in the form of a, what should I say, you know, a dumbbell, isn't it? In the gym, you use the dumbbell. No? Similar to that, you have two lobes. Now, these lobes will be rotating and these lobes will be in contact with each other. When they're not in contact with each other, a gap is formed and the air is sent through the gap. Air is sent through the gap from the inlet to the outlet. Meanwhile, as the lobe rotates, you are going to get the compressed air. This is called the Roots type blower. The third one is called the vane blower. So in the vane blower, you have a vane. You have an inlet, you have an outlet, and in the middle, you have a drum. Inside the drum, you have a vane. So what is this kind of vane? See, it will be like a matchstick, okay? Simply a long stick like that. But it can compress and decompress. So that capacity it has got. So when it happens, when it compresses and decompresses, the air which is there inside also gets compressed and you can push the inlet air into the outlet. And this is also a good method of supercharging. Okay, so in the VTO exam, standard question what they ask is, what is supercharging? Why it is needed? Advantage, disadvantage of supercharging? Types of superchargers. Any one supercharger they're going to ask. Either vane type, centrifugal type or Roots blower. Any one. You have to draw the figure and write the explanation. Anyone, definitely they're going to ask. Okay. Then this is about the supercharger. Then I told you, see, they're also discussing what is the advantage and disadvantages of the centrifugal supercharger. Okay, centrifugal supercharger, what are the advantages? The cost is low and less power is required, high energy conversion, and it requires less maintenance. These are the advantages. Disadvantages is it requires more space because it has got a huge impeller. Now, what are the disadvantages and advantages of the Roots blower? See, the advantage is that the design is simple and low cost, high volumetric efficiency, whereas there is more chance of leakage and volumetric efficiency sometimes decreases if the pressure increases. These are the disadvantages. Then the third one, vane blowers, they are suitable for high capacity engines, that is the advantage. Whereas you can also have high pressure ratio and it can deliver large quantity of air. But the disadvantage is that the power requirement is very high and the cylinders wear out very rapidly. Okay, these are the advantages and disadvantages of the different kinds of the superchargers. Okay, now the next one is turbocharging. So what do you mean by turbocharging? And what is the difference between supercharging and turbocharging? We'll have to study. Now, what is turbocharging? See, all of you have heard the concept of a turbocharger. Okay. Now, if a gas turbine example, it runs on exhaust gases of engine, and if it drives a supercharger, then it is called turbocharging. Okay. Now, for turbocharging, you have to have a swill. Okay, you have to create a swill. The turbocharger is going to increase the pressure of the air, and you are going to get the supply of high pressure air. Now, see the figure 3.8, page number 43. Just open the textbook what I shared with you. Page number 3.8, you can see the turbocharger figure. Okay, 3.8 figure. It is an example of turbocharging, exhaust turbocharging of a single cylinder engine. Now observe here what exactly is happening. See, you have the piston, crankshaft, connecting rod, etc., the whole engine assembly. You have the inlet valve and you have the exhaust valve. Okay, now you are going to connect the turbocharger. Now, where are you going to connect the turbocharger? See, one portion of it is connected to the exhaust valve and the other portion is connected to the inlet valve. Okay, now you are going to supply the air fuel mixture to the inlet valve. So you can take, for example, in SI engine, petrol plus air mixture. Supply the air fuel mixture through the inlet manifold. It has got a compressor. Then the fresh petrol air mixture, which is called as the charge, enters and goes into the inlet valve. Now, the exhaust gases, after the work is done in the engine, the exhaust gas comes out and goes through a exhaust wastegate. Okay, and from there it goes to an exhaust gas turbine. A small turbine is fitted. So in the turbine, what is going to happen? The pressure of the exhaust gases increases and pushes out the exhaust gas. Okay, now how does this exactly work? Okay, when the engine is running, the hot gases leaving the exhaust valve enters into the exhaust manifold and goes into the turbine. In the turbine, the hot gases strike the fins or the blades of the turbine and makes it to rotate. Okay, then a turbo shaft connects the turbine to a compressor. The centrifugal force throws the air outwards, and this causes the air to come out of the turbocharger under pressure and is then fed into the engine cylinder. So you are actually increasing the pressure of the cylinder by using the exhaust gases coming out from the engine cylinder by using a turbine inside. That is called turbocharger. But sometimes you have what is called a turbocharger lag. Turbocharger lag means it is the time period required for the exhaust gas to accelerate the turbine and compressor. Now, as soon as the exhaust gas comes out, it does not actually get into the turbine, but there is a small, what you call delay period. This causes the exhaust gases to take some more time to enter into the turbine. That is called turbocharger lag. Okay. Now, supposing we compare supercharging and turbocharging. Okay. We'll compare supercharging and turbocharging. Then, see, this is a common question which they're going to ask. Okay, supercharging and turbocharging in the VTO exam also. What is the difference between supercharging and turbocharging? Okay, so the different kinds of superchargers also we have studied. So we'll just see what is the difference between supercharging and turbocharging. See, in the supercharging, we have studied already, the mechanical energy of the prime mover is used to run the supercharger. Whereas here, see, this is very special. In the turbocharging, you are going to use the energy of exhaust gas to run the supercharger. Okay. And in the supercharger, it does not require any gate control, but whereas it requires a wastegate control in the turbocharging. And in the supercharging, it does not require a special exhaust manifold, whereas in CI engine, it reduces the smoke. Also, in diesel engines, it reduces the knocking tendency, whereas the blade erosion takes place due to entry of the dust particles. Now, pressure ratio is low in supercharging, whereas it is very high in the case of turbocharging. And it is light and compact, but very bulky and heavy in the turbocharging. Scavenging is difficult in mechanical superchargers, where scavenging is easy. Now, these are the advantages, or you can say the comparison between the supercharging and turbocharging. So you can just see the difference between supercharging and turbocharging. You can easily make out that turbocharging has more what you call practical applications compared to the supercharger, and both can be used at appropriate times. See, supercharging can be used for petrol engines, whereas turbocharging can be used for diesel engines. Okay, so these are the differences between supercharging and turbocharging. You can expect one question in the V2 exam also based on supercharging and turbocharging. Okay, so what is supercharging? What is turbocharging? These definitions you should know. Okay, in the turbocharging, you are going to take the exhaust gases and send it through an exhaust turbine. Then you are going to increase the pressure of the air and you are going to supply. Okay, and in the case of supercharger, you are going to increase the density of the air and then supply additional air to the inlet of the combustion chamber. That is through the inlet manifold of the combustion chamber. Okay, so this is about the supercharger and turbocharger. Any doubts, please tell me. Any doubts? Sumuk? Sumuk? Dheeraj? Or tell me, any doubts you have? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, any doubts? You should know what is supercharging, what is the objective of supercharging, methods of supercharging, that is centrifugal type, Roots blower, vane type. Then what is turbocharging, and what are the differences or the comparison between supercharging and turbocharging? Okay, and what is the definition of turbocharging? How we are going to use the turbine exhaust gas turbine? How we are going to send it to the chamber? This much you should know. Any doubts in this, Dheeraj? Hello?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So if you have understood, then this is about the superchargers and turbochargers, and comparison also is made. Please refer to the notes what I have given. That is quite sufficient for you. And with that material what you have, you can easily study this supercharger and turbocharger. Okay. So this difference you should know, and you compare these two, and then note down all the points. Okay. And one more thing I want to tell you. We have to do some problems in the section on brakes. Okay, brakes I'll do one problem. Usually they don't ask that in the exam also, but anyway I'll do some problems on brakes. Okay, if we do that, there should not be any problem. Then we will be able to complete the syllabus also. Okay, and one more thing, as all of you know, the second test which was scheduled, that MCQ is not there. You know that already. So 28th, 29th, and 30th, they are going to have the descriptive type of examination. Descriptive type, which is going to be helpful for your V2 examination also. Okay, so I'm going to set the questions in such a way that it will be easy for you to attend the. You will have an experience before you attend the V2 exam. Okay, it will be helpful for you. So I'll see that questions will be such that It will be helpful in the main exam. Okay, and you also have sufficient in the study material what I have provided 3-4 question papers also are there in automobile engineering. Please go through that also. Any doubts you have, you ask me anytime. I don't think regarding study material, you don't have any issues because all of you have got the whole textbook itself. So there should not be any problem at all for you. Isn't it? Yeah, any doubts, any questions, you please ask me. Hello? Akhil? Dheeraj? Hello?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah. So with this, we complete the supercharger and turbocharger. So you should know the different kinds of superchargers and what is turbocharging, sketch, explanation. That much if you see, it should be sufficient for you to complete the question. That's not a problem. Okay. And I have also told you regarding the heat transfer lab, how it is going to be. The lab internals, 22nd and 23rd will be the lab internals. And as I told you, for the conduction of the experiment, 8 experiments we are given there already. Out of that 8, we are going to ask you the conduction of the experiments which was done before the lockdown. Remember, whatever you have done in the college, 3, 4 or whatever it is, batch to batch it is varying. So that we are going to ask for conduction, that is 20 marks. You will have to explain the conduction process. Second one, the record. See, out of the 8 experiments what you are given, you have to add 2 more also. We have mentioned that also, that is refrigeration and air conditioning. So 10 experiments, you write the record and keep it ready. Then if you don't know the calculation or if the readings are not there, keep the tabular column and calculation just like that and finish the other things. Okay. Third one will be Viva. Viva, we don't know. It's up to the faculty whether you want to ask oral questions or whether we'll post it in the group or Moodle or Google Classroom. So that we'll see later. Okay. So just be prepared for the this thing. Okay. HT lab internals. And all of you have got manuals, isn't it? Heat transfer lab manual is there with all of you. All of you have the heat transfer lab manuals, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it should not be a problem. Okay, so just go through the lab manual, okay, and go through the details given in that. You will be able to finish the lab internals. Write the record and keep it ready. After the test, we'll tell you when, then we'll collect your records. Okay, so 40 marks is the lab internals, 20 for conduction, 10 for record, 10 for viva. Okay, that is the procedure for the heat transfer lab IA marks. Okay, I think we have covered almost everything today. So supercharging and turbocharging is also completed. Okay, so now we are left with only one thing: brakes. The problems on brakes, and I have to tell you the working of ABS, it's anti-lock braking system, with the sketch. Okay, once I do these 2 things, I think your portions is completed. Should not be a problem. Okay. Yeah, anything else, please tell me. From your side, whatever is there. Niharika. Yeah. And one more thing, the automobile engineering assignment. Okay, first one, MCQs. I have given already the list of those who are not submitted. I have repeated several times. In spite of that, if you have not sent the MCQs, I put the list also, then you will lose marks. That's all I can say. Not more, nothing more than that. I have given sufficient time. Still, if you cannot give the first one itself MCQ, what I can do? Second thing, assignment 1. About 3-4 students have submitted already. Please submit assignment 1 automobile engineering immediately. It is the assignment where you have this Hotchkiss drive. All those things are given. Please start submitting the first assignment immediately. So I called it as a first assignment because the first assignment is MCQ. Then after this, you have the assignment number 1. So please start submitting it. I'll value then and there and send it to you back. I'll post it back to you. So please make it fast. You people don't have much time. You send it fast and I will value it and give it. So assignment 1, I want immediately. Within 2 days, I want to complete everything. Okay. Most probably you people will be coming in the second week of June. So before that, everything has to be ready. Because once you come, there is absolutely no time. We'll have to hurry up everything. Okay. So I covered all the things. 1, automobile engineering, supercharger, turbocharger we completed. Second, heat transfer lab, internals, mode of conduction, I've told you. Third one, all of you automobile engineering students, submit assignment 1 immediately. Submit assignment 1 immediately. Okay. This is from my side. I think study material, all of you have got because I put it in the group. Read the textbook. The whole textbook I shared with you. And the textbook is sufficient for you to write the VTO exam. It covers everything. Okay. Please go through that. In case you have doubts, you are most welcome. Anytime you put any message, we are ready to answer it. Okay. Anything else, please? Akhil, tell up another if you have anything to tell. Yeah, tell me. Why you guys not responding only, man?
Sir,
Still
do we
silent.
have to write
Tell
the
me.
write-up part during the lab internal, sir?
Write up part, huh? No, no.
Yes.
In the conduction, huh? No, in
Yes.
it's going to be like a Google Meet. They are going to ask you how you are going to conduct that experiment. Some questions on how to conduct the experiment.
No
I don't think
writing, sir.
no, I don't think there's going to be any write up on that. Most probably. Anyway, it is left to the faculty. It is up to the faculty for the way to conduct that conduction experiment. Some people might ask you to write and show it, or some people might ask oral questions only. So actually, it's left to the faculty. So I think what we have planned now actually is 22nd, 23rd is a lab interns, right? So for my batch, I'm planning B1 batch. First day, 10 people. If there are 20 students, first day 10, second day 10. It will be on Google Meet and we are going to finish it up. That is the and regarding Viva, again, it's left to the individual. Maybe he might ask oral question or put a 10 or 20 questions in the Google Classroom and ask you to submit. And he will evaluate it and put it in the Viva. Okay. Maybe mostly it will be like the Google Classroom only. They're going to put it like a assignment and you will have to answer the Viva. Because we also need a document for conducting all the lab interviews. Mostly it will be like that. Regarding the kind of questions on conduction, they might ask you to write it on a paper and show it to you, or I don't know. They might ask oral questions also. It's left to the faculty. Got your doubt, Chaitanya? Cleared?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Anything else? Okay,